Ready to power up your business results? In this week's episode, we discuss workplace wellness with Dr Jarrod Haar from AUT and Charlotte Lockhart from 4-Day Week Global. We meet Helen McDermott from Righteous Law, who discusses how she helps fight for her clients' rights. Then we finish up with some more thought-provoking business wisdom from the founder of The Engine Limited, Catherine Cooke. It's all here on The Engine Business Show.
Kia ora and welcome to the Engine Business Show. I'm Monique Bradley and I'm excited to help you amp up your business success with the Engine. Now, if you're not familiar with the Engine is one of New Zealand's leading business advisory organisations based here in Auckland. And to get the show started, we have a little tip of wisdom from the founder and lead advisor of the Engine, Catherine Cooke. Catherine, what have you got for us today?
Well, today I'm going to talk about employment law. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not a bush lawyer either. I am a business advisor, and quite often I see a lot of businesses, they go into Facebook groups and they ask people, can I have a contract? Does anyone have a contract? The reality is, if you don't have a contract, really do seek advice. We have a really good provider, HR Toolkit, in our toolkit at the Engine, and they provide a whole range of templates. But with templates, you need to know how to use them. So I'm going to start with the 90-day trial period. The 90-day trial period is still in play and it's designed for employers with 20 or less people. But getting a template is just one thing. You need to know how to use that template. For example, if you are doing any training of paid or unpaid training before you hire the person, it actually basically means that that 90-day trial period is invalid. A lot of people don't know that. They say, well, how can I trial the person if I don't know if they can cook or if I don't know if they're going to fit in? So I come back to what I've said previously on a show before, is get the recruitment process right, then surround yourself with the right people to be able to deliver a proper contract and give you the capability to be able to make it stick. So that's my advice for today.
Well, sadly, burnout is on the increase here in New Zealand, so here to have an open conversation about what to do and how to take better care of yourself. I have the CEO of 4-Day Week Global, Charlotte Lockhart. Welcome to the studio. Lovely to have you here.
Thank you.
And also from AUT, I believe, we have Dr Jarrod Haar, Professor of Human Resource Management. Lovely to have you here too.
Thank you very much.
Welcome.
Kia ora.
So first of all, I'm going to start with you, Jarrod. Tell us what's going on.
So burnout is kind of it's a natural workplace phenomenon. We all have some kind of burnout, just like we all have some kind of happiness. And in a perfect world, the majority of us, if not all of us, would have very little burnout, right? The 4 components of burnout are emotional exhaustion, just, if you wake up in the morning and you feel exhausted before the day's even started, that's a very good indicator. The other 3 components are mentally distanced from work. So for entrepreneurs and business owners, I doubt the significance of my business, my idea. But then the other 2 are about making like cognitive mistakes. You just, mentally not able to engage the brain. And then the 4th one would be emotional impairment. So this is when you're at your business or workplace and you start, yelling or crying or, you just can't control your emotions. And if you're at high on all 4 of those levels, you are what we would call burnt out. You're at the most severe level of burnout.
And my understanding is, especially from the after effects of COVID, that has increased significantly. Is that what you're meaning, or is it just the workplace in general?
Yeah, well, so I've been doing research on this one just after the first lockdown, and we had about 11%. So I did the survey of 1,000 employees, which included business owners and managers, and we're looking there at 11% in May, but now in December it's up to 18%. So now we're kind of getting close to the 1 in 5.
Wow.
And the worst thing is if you're a manager, and this will apply to business owners as well, their rate of being burnt out, so that's that most severe level, is higher again. They're about another 40% likely to be burnt out.
Wow, that's incredible data.
Yeah, and the worst thing is if you're burnt out, your chances of having severe cases of anxiety or depression is 24 to 25 times more likely. So unfortunately, if you're in that zone, you're most likely to have some serious mental health problems going on as well.
Wow. So Charlotte, you're obviously behind 4-Day Week. It's become a global phenomenon, a global movement. Tell me what got you into, like after hearing this, what got you into doing 4-Day Week?
Well, we launched a 4-Day Week in our business, Perpetual Guardian, back in 2018, and Jarrod was one of our key researchers that followed us on that journey. And what we were looking at in reality was not about the well-being of our people, but more about how our business can be productive. And so we came to it from a business perspective. But what we said to our staff is, if you can be more productive in less time, you can have that time off. And then as we went through the research with Jarrod, it was phenomenal, the response that the staff had. And our team engagement scores went up through to levels that you'd never seen before.
Wow.
But back to Jarrod's point about the burnout, this is not just a New Zealand experience. We see this across the world. And the World Health Organization has just brought out some statistics around the increase in strokes and heart attacks from all of this overwork.
Really?
And that sense of need to prove yourself by working longer isn't necessarily the solution. And so what we talk about with the 4-Day Week is we're actually just talking about how can you reduce your hours and how can you focus in on getting your business achievement done in less time. So much of what we do is actually not really part of the productive goal.
Okay.
It's just fluff. And it's about understanding where the fluff is important, because we need downtime. And I quite often have business owners saying to me, it was great for my staff, but I can't do it. And I ask them, where do your best business ideas come? And they're not when you're traipsing around the factory floor or you're stuck at your desk dealing with report after report or doing anything in your business. Those ideas come in the shower, walking along the beach, all of those things. So and entrepreneurs and business owners will really relate to that. All their big ideas come when they're in the downtime.
Absolutely, when they're in that zone where they can be open to creativity, as an example, or new leadership ideas, things like that.
And so while the fact that you're walking on the beach coming up with brilliant ideas technically means you're still on work. It's about shifting it out. And we've had phrases for this. We've always talked about, working in your business, not on your business, and all of that. This is realistically nothing new, but we have a voice for it now. We have statistics. There's a real focus around the globe around working differently.
Which is great. Now, one of the things I just picked up on that I want to hear from your perspective as well is that concept that people are always hyper-driven. We think that by working longer hours, we're actually being more productive in our business, right? From your perspective, from the research that you've done, what have you noticed? What are you seeing at that burnout level with people? What, particularly for people who are watching, what should people be looking out for?
So 55 plus hours, that's the 17% greater chance of dying of a heart attack. So 55 hours is the black zone. We shouldn't call it the golden hour. So we should all be trying to make sure, no matter what I'm doing, is that I'm protecting myself once I'm getting to that 50-hour thing. It's easy for entrepreneurs and business owners to go, oh my gosh, I'm just caught up in my business and things are going so busy, maybe not, whether they're doing well or not. But I think, people need to say, actually, this business is not very successful if I die next year because my health has paid the price. So I think that fundamental thing, 55 hours is, and that's a big indicator of being burnt out. My most recent research, though, is finding those that being tethered to the office. So smartphones, iPads, those tablets, the emails, the after, if you find yourself doing something at 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, those are a big driver to being burnt out. And if you think about it, it's just driving us to keep working. So one thing I think we should be encouraging people to do, at least immediately before implementing a 4-day work week, is to say, actually, you know what, after 6 o'clock, I'm going to stop the work emails until, say, 6 in the morning or whatever, or later. And I think that might be a way that people can help to protect themselves, let alone their employees.
I love it. Now, Charlotte, finally, how can 4-Day Week, the global movement, help people in business?
Well, so what we're basically is we're a philanthropic adventure, basically, but we're running a campaign that started on the 22nd of June. And so, connect into 4dayweek.com and join the campaign. Have your voice and say whether you want that 4-day week or not. Now, it's not necessarily 4 days. It's about reducing hours, not working 55.
Got it. So it's about working smarter?
It's about working smarter
And
not
being
harder.
kinder to yourself. I love it. Now, if you'd like to find out more about 4-Day Week, you can head to the website. Here's the details for you. Sign up, be part of the movement. Charlotte, Jarrod, thank you so much for your wisdom and thank you for the great work you're doing in the world.
Kia ora,
Thank you, kia ora.
As business owners and entrepreneurs, our journey can often be a very lonely one. So knowing that you've got someone in your corner fighting to support you, well, that can be a game changer. And here to talk about her extraordinary journey is Helen McDermott from Righteous Law. Kia ora and welcome.
Hello, Monique.
So
Thank
nice
you
to
for
see
having me.
Oh, you are welcome. You've got quite an extraordinary story. So tell me, how did you become a lawyer?
I did it the hard way and the long way. I left school at 16 with nothing and no qualifications, and initially I did an accounting degree and decided accounting was not for me.
Wow.
And when I was a kid, my passion was always to be a lawyer. Even when I was like
As a child?
5 or 6, I wanted to be a lawyer or a policeman.
Wow.
And so I thought, I'll pay my student loan off from my accounting degree and then I'll go to law school. So I paid it off and went to law school.
And what age was that?
I started law school at 32 and I wanted to finish my law degree by the time I was 35, and I was admitted to the bar on my 35th birthday.
Oh my goodness. So were you working at the same time? You know, thinking of your accounting side, which won't want to incur a lot of debt. How did you make that work?
With my accounting degree, I worked full-time, studied part-time. With my law degree, I did it the other way round, studied full-time, worked part-time. So to keep any student debt to a minimum.
That's incredible. And my understanding too is through your career, you've also become a parent as well.
Yes, I do, which makes it...
A bit more complex.
Yes.
So how do you juggle law, parenting, life? I mean, how do you make that all work for you?
It's a struggle.
Yeah.
But I do need to prioritise my son. He is my everything pretty much. But on the other side, I think being a parent helps me with my family law matters.
Yeah. And that's really what I want to know, because one of the things we've spoken about prior to today is the great work you're doing in the family courts. Tell me about that.
I'm really passionate about family law, and I'm very passionate about children and what's in their best interest. And I seem to have become having quite a few fathers as clients.
Wow.
And I find acting for a father a very different ball game than acting for a mother.
Well, tell me why. What's going on?
There's a bit of a perceived gender bias within the court, and it's can be like perceived that children are better off with their mum, but not necessarily. A father has just as many rights as a mother and can be just as good a parent as a mother.
This is a pretty big conversation, because we do see a lot coming out in the media. Media is my game. We do see a lot of media coming out in support of the mother. So this is quite a new arena. We don't hear a lot about somebody fighting for the needs of the father. Why is that?
Because
it's a big question, I know, and I'm putting you on the spot.
I think, there should be no discrimination on gender, and fathers have a lot to offer to the children, and they love their children, and they just want to be there for the children as well. And it's got to be recognised that both genders can be a good parent
I love
and
that.
a good solo parent if need be.
I love that. And so, I mean, what I've learnt about the work that you're doing with Righteous Law is also that perception of, or the conversation around diversity.
Yes.
So tell me about how Righteous Law is really extending their reach out to the general public and the wider community.
Righteous Law has a very diverse staff base. We have a variety of nationalities. We do have a lot of Chinese staff members, but we also cover all sorts of people, not just the Chinese community. And yeah.
Yeah, it's great. And you do more within the organisation as well, or you personally do more than just family law, is that right?
I do mostly civil and family litigation, which is litigation's basically court work. So anything that needs to go to court, I'm your person, and I've got quite a passion also for debt recovery and enforcing debt.
Wow, that's a pretty hard task as well. How do you manage that? That's a big conversation to have as well. What's the key to success with that?
With managing debt is not get emotionally involved and just think like by the time a person comes to me with a debt they want to collect, it's gone through so many different people before it's got to me that I can't be drawn into the sob story of the debtor. I need to just think like you've had so many chances. You need to just sort it.
Yeah, it's kind of now or never, really.
Yeah,
isn't it?
and that's what I try and do for my clients is just get the matter resolved.
Well, I know there are a lot of different areas within law. I know you have your specialist area and your passion as well. So as people are watching this show in particular, this segment, what do you think are the key tips from a real person who's had an extraordinary life, who is a mum, who is looking after dads and helping them get represented? If there's some piece of wisdom you would want people to walk away understanding more deeply about law and about the work you do, what would be that piece of wisdom?
It would be find a lawyer that you trust, that you feel comfortable with, that listens to you, that that really listens to you and wants to know exactly what you want to achieve and will stick to that and won't try and railroad you down another path that might be what the lawyer thinks is best. But you need to have a lawyer that will do what you want. And fight for you.
I love it. Yay. I totally agree. And that's why I really wanted you to come onto the show, because that's exactly what you do. So if you need someone fighting for you in your corner, you know that Helen is the right person for you. Helen McDermott from Righteous Law. Here's her contact details. Helen, thank you so much for the great work you do to serve your clients. I know you are making a difference in people's life, and thank you for honouring your calling as a child and coming back to law. Congratulations.
Thank you, Monique. It's been lovely.
Well, when you're the heart and soul of your business, often you may find that you put the needs of your clients or your team members ahead of your own, which can severely impact your well-being. So here to have a courageous conversation is the founder and lead business advisor of The Engine, Catherine Cooke. Welcome to the studio.
Thanks for having me.
So we're talking about well-being today. Let's talk about your well-being and what you do to look after yourself and the needs of your clients.
Well, I'm actually lucky. I've got a really good, strong support network of friends, professional friends and personal friends around me. And I know when I'm at that point that I need to just have a conversation. I've got people I can lean on, not to say about what's happening in those personal conversations out there, but just to say, hey, I just need to talk.
And that works for you, to get everything out there and having somebody that can listen in?
Yeah, absolutely. And take me back to what I always preach with people is to look after myself. And so friends that say, let's go and have a massage together, or let's go and do nails. But having a good support network around you is really, really important. And I have to say I'm really lucky to have the best husband in the world.
Yes, you are. He is lovely. Now, I want to talk about your clients. So, the effects of stress, looking after your clients, being busy, being accountable in the middle of the night, answering emails 24/7, that really impacts well-being and, of course, productivity moving forward. So, what are the things that you're seeing, first of all, with business owners and entrepreneurs where you're having to come in and help them out?
Yeah, look, when you're in the thick of it, it's easy to blame others. And, you know, I find with blame is just a projection of your own disappointment and pain and can have an inverse, you know, sort of relationship with accountability. So I say to the business owners, it's just to kind of step out and reframe what you're looking at and look at it with a different pair of eyes and a different viewpoint. And just being able to have those conversations is really, really important.
So with your business advisor hat on, what do you think are the key stresses affecting well-being of our business owners and entrepreneurs in the country?
Well, right now there's a lot of onus on business owners to look after their people, from obviously health and safety and that's mental wellness and physical risk in the business and just a threat of, you know, sort of a breach of compliance. And when you've got all of that happening and then things that are happening, for example, absenteeism in the business or, you know, late shipment. I mean, I was with a client yesterday who was talking about, I can't even get containers on out of China. What am I going to do? You know, I can't get a booking. And so coming up with solutions. So when they talk to me, I'm actually the solution board or the sounding board for solutions to get a different thought process running.
Wow. So when you've got that stress, obviously it affects well-being and that on-flows into the staff. So how is that stress then affecting, even aside from the logistics stuff, how is that affecting workplace culture? It's a big question.
Yeah, look, it's affecting it if you don't look after you. So what I do is I say to the business owner when it's at that point, let's just step out, let's go and have a chat over a hot drink. And I actually ask them what's going on. Typically speaking, there's other things that are going on in their life at that same time. Might be personal relationships, it might be financial, but just also getting them to put those disciplines back in place to look after them so that they can actually be operating at their best. It might even be just having a lunch break, having your smartphone or your smartwatch saying, hey, lunchtime, and going out for the walk and just to grab a bite. Quite often people are just not stopping during the day, and that has an impact on your body and on your mind.
Of course, absolutely. Having that time out.
Yes.
I know when I first got into the corporate arena, I had to remove myself every hour for 10 minutes from the computer.
Yes.
Should probably put that discipline back into my life now, right?
Absolutely, and you talk about the computer, and that is the biggest problem. So another you know, sort of tip I have with people is time blocking, and I talk about it quite often. Is time block things into your calendar at work, so you know that between 8 and 9 o'clock. In the morning, I'm going to be doing this, and I might do it on 2 days of the week. That way, you actually have something to celebrate. You've actually achieved something for the day, and you walk away with the positives out of your day. Because let's face it, you know, you're on a bus going somewhere. You don't know where the bus is going sometimes, especially when you know you've got all these external factors coming at you. So,
and I'm thinking that time blocking will give you back a sense of control within your business, right?
Well, it gives you back a sense of control with yourself as well.
Yes,
because
so true.
you know you've got to have personal accountability, and you've got to own it. And I say that to everybody. So what was your role in this, and how did you contribute to it? And if you look in, how can you do things better? So, you know, as much as we're all here looking after the team and the clients, and it's very, very important, without an employer or without the company owner, we actually don't have a business either.
So true, so true. So for a business owner or entrepreneur watching right now, and we've been talking about throughout the series at different stages, we've been talking about well-being, signs of burnout, things like that. When should somebody reach out for help?
Before it happens. Like, you know, you might think that you're fine right now, you're actually not. Having a sounding board will actually be the difference of you being at the top of a cliff or under a rock. And when I say under a rock, I'm talking about, you know, I just cannot move. I've got people that have just I just feel like they're stuck. They can't even lift the leg up to move forward. So it's the prevention over the cure. Just really do it before it needs to become an intensive care situation.
That so resonates with me and so many of the entrepreneurs that I know who might be really struggling right now. And in fact, if you're struggling, if this has resonated with you too, please reach out to Catherine. Here's her contact details and how she can help. Catherine, I have loved today's chat. I know you're a heart-centric leader. You really care about the well-being, not just of your team, but also of every single client you deal with, and you transform people's lives. So in summing up today, what's that one big tip you would like people to take away from today's chat?
Yeah, look, everything we do for other people is our legacy once we're gone. But just ensure that you look after you, because you are the only person that's accountable to you. And without you, we really don't have a lot to talk about. So make sure you live your best life through looking after yourself.
Catherine, thank you.
Thanks for having me.